Hi guys, and welcome to round one of the Spring Octagon League. Today we have myself playing Bara Fealty against George from Reading playing Greyjoy Banner of the Lion. So George is running a bit of a the new King Balon with Gmae, trying to have that, I can do 2 militaries without anyone kneeling. Well, I'm running. I've kind of gone back from my Bara Summer into trying some Bara Fealty. A bit more of a traditional build, bringing Stannis back in. So with initial setups, and I have Mel and Celise with a Rose Road. George has Tyrion, the Lordsport Shipwright, and the Lanny Reducer. On to the first plots. So if you aren't aware, the every 3 months or so, there's an Octagon League which you can join. It starts off with 6 or 7 rounds of Swiss, then goes into a cut for top 32. The Swiss is done by where you live, so if you live in like Europe, you're in Europe group or European time zone at least. So you can not to arranging games is a nightmare. Come the cut, it can be a bit harder, but it's not impossible. So we've both gone for Time of Plenty for the first plot. So all the card draw. But yeah, if you are interested in trying to play some more games, it's a really good way of playing some people you wouldn't normally get to play. And kind of playing a bit competitively, but sort of 1 game a week, so it's not, like a whole day trying to arrange games. So I draw up there, and I've got 2 Constellation of Powers, a Rob and the Dragon's Port to go with a Duper Mel, Scene in Flames, we've got Milk of the Poppy, City Watch, King's Road, Serene, and the Lancer. So George plays out a dupe on Tyrion. Now, I admit, this whole game I was basically worried, trying to make my mindset trying to play around Valor. I was quite convinced George was running Valor because of Greyjoy, even though part of me did think my Greyjoy doesn't run Valor because everyone expects Greyjoy to run Valor, so they tend to play around it. So that was the thought going through my mind that maybe I'm overthinking this and I haven't got to worry about Valor at all. But we will see. So George picked up Rose Road and an Iron Mines. And we have the Reader. Okay. So on to my marshalling. So I decided to play out the Dragon's Port because of the Shipwright. I had to ask him later to see any action, which he's thinking. I thought if I played the King's Road, he definitely would kneel it. Completely forgetting, obviously, I had Fealty, so we got Bob out anyway. So kneel that, kneel Fealty, and King Bob is on the board. Put the Deep on Mel, and put the Milk on Tyrion. So I don't want him getting that gold, and I am done. I'm asking if he's got any action because you know what's coming next. We're going to Scene in Flames. Let's see his hand. So if we see in Flames, unfortunately you can't. Unfortunately here we can't see his hand because I set recorded setup. So I do apologise. I've just got it set up for the screen here. So I can tell you now that he had the Ratchet's Raise the only character in hand, and the rest of all events, including to a treachery into what is it called? Put to the Swords. So yeah, wasn't too worried about Put to the Swords because there was lack of characters. So he decided to reduce the number of characters he could play out basically, and we used use Mel to kneel Tyrion, which possibly was a mistake. Now think about it again, I probably should have knelt the Reader because his ability only works when a Greyjoy character has an unopposed challenge. Obviously, I've just stopped taking as any character out of hand. Want to stop that draw. So I probably should have used that opportunity to kneel him, and then I could have let the injury go unopposed. So unfortunately, I do have to oppose it. So George wins the challenge. And the City Watch, the pretty much one card in hand I didn't want to disappear, does, which was quite frustrating. But in all fact, I could have won the challenge, you know, with both Mel and Elise. So it's my own fault. Okay, so George Pass challenges, coming with a military with Bob. Basically, the idea here I was thinking of whichever, if he doesn't, to try and kill one of the two standing characters, and then try and get an unopposed on the intrigue. So George is having a little think about claim. So I should put out, I'm doing this commentary obviously afterwards, mainly because I had my kids around when we were playing, and unless you want to hear Thomas the Tank Engine in the background, I decided to mute the sound and record it later. So the Iron Mines there saves the Landsport Merchant. I use Intimidate to nil the shipwright and decide to attack his hand, because obviously there's no power to actually claim, so I thought I might as well get an extra power and reduce take an option away from him. So dominance goes to George as I'm done, and we are currently sitting at 3-1. Now, the use of the Iron Mines there should have given me a clue that there probably wasn't a Valor coming along, but I still hadn't quite figured it out, if I'm honest. So onto the second plot phase, and I'm going to pick building orders. And again to counting coppers, obviously George needing to raise that hand up. George just makes me go first. I trigger his plot first because it's always good to get the option that the opponent's plot goes first unless it's advantageous not to. And again, this isn't going to show me the options. Oh no, it is. Okay, so the option here is a painted table or the red keep, and I go for the painted table. I'm trying out the dominance kind of theme at the moment, so I think that's the reason why I chose that, trying to win through dominance. Yes, I know, quite dull. And you draw 2 cards, and I also do then see the red keep, so not a bad draw up, to be fair. I was wondering about playing Consolidation of Power because I lack the Law cards to nil anyone through Mel's ability. I'm about to make a little bit of a mistake here. Which you'll see. I could have done something here which would have made my job a lot easier. So I'm thinking about playing Davos out, but so yeah, put the King's Red out. Now, what I probably should have done was, I thought about this afterwards, maybe play Consolidation of Power. I would only have knelt the 2 small cut chuds. Then I could have got the King's Red out and played out everything I wanted to play out. As it is now, obviously I'm trying to play around the shipwright. So you're going to get the red keep out for 1 gold. And I decided to get Sleece out and keep the painted table in hand this turn. And then, yeah, I'm going to play the Consolidation of Power to kneel out. Again, should have gone for the Reader. That was a mistake. And it's something you're going to hear me say a lot of times on this channel. I was playing this game on about 50 minutes sleep after a night shift, so I'm sure I'm going to look back and think, man, that was a mistake. So on to George's marshalling. George only has 3 gold, unfortunately, because he's of counting coppers, but he has got the reducer, so he could play out. So he could have pay effectively 4 gold as long as the landing character comes out. I'm actually saying to myself, yeah, we should have done the reader again. So I'm realising my mistake there. The other thing as well is the reader doesn't have a dupe, so if Valor or something does get played, then the power's going to come off him. And as it is with both of the characters having the same icons, it doesn't really make a difference which one I kneel out. So we have a Rosary played in. So neither side here is really struggling with economy. We have the Fishmonger played in, the reducer for the Greyjoy, and Sea Bitch played in, and sitting on 1 gold. Assume it's probably for the treachery that I know he's got in hand. So I'll pass actions. Just trying to think now, so I can get an unopposed military off here, so I can nil something out with the military. I'm worried about defending the Red Keep. If I go in for a big power, whether he'll just steal Sea Bitch and take off me. So I've got to go for an intrigue and mail to start with. Try and get to nil the reader, which is unopposed. And claim is King's Road. So now going for a power challenge with Bob. I was fully expecting him here to try and steal the Red Keep at this point. So Bob's currently strength 8. He's going to be strength 9 at least as long as one character defends. And one character does defend. No reactions, claim. So put me up to 6 power. And nil the reader. And I pass. Now, what I was expecting George to do here was to do a power challenge and then steal the Red Keep in the middle of the power challenge to basically win the power by or draw the power, because I'd have to fully defend and set my draw. But obviously he obviously card advantage I think is massive in Game of Thrones. Pretty much any card game, obviously card advantage is massive, but particularly Game of Thrones, in my experience. And George passes, so that gives me the Red Keep. Drawing me into the Iron Throne and the City Watch, and I get dominance. So I'm feeling pretty good at that point because now I've got both of the pieces for the Dom package sitting there. We'll go for Feast for Crows to get even more power. Let's try and put this game out of sight before the, as I said, expected Valor comes in. But we have Confiscation played in to get rid of the Milk of the Poppy. And George chooses to go first, which is interesting. Pardon me. So, draw up. What do I do? Draw to Stannis and the Fiery Followers. So, we're at an interesting point here. I'm waiting for him to do the first action. If he doesn't nail the King's Road, I'm going to just trigger it. See, they're hovering over, waiting to waiting like, come on, forget to kneel it. But he chooses to kneel the Red Keep. So I do choose to mill the King's Road because I'm going to use it anyway, just in case he's got another another shipwright in hand or something. So just in case. Now it's interesting you chose to mill the Red Keep. I think that's part of the reason I went first, but obviously I still got a passive 2 strength from that, and I wasn't quite sure about that. And yeah, I lose the card draw, but at this point, I don't know. I just feel like I've had it for long enough. Thought it was an interest. It just seemed like an interesting play. Let's see if George watched this. Let us know why you did that. Maybe you thought I had enough economy anyway, because I got 7 gold, 8 gold with the effectively 9 gold anyway. So what's an extra 3? Probably actually a fair shout. So I get 7 gold on the 7 gold for Feast of Crows. So bring the 5 followers in, reduce by 3 because of the King's Road. Try and trigger Mel, which gets treacheried, which gets out of the way. Then bring in the painted table, the Iron Throne, and then he's played Consolidation Power to nil out Tyrion. I did consider holding on to that to play it on Stannis in a bit. Obviously nil and Stannis out is worth a lot more, but I didn't. I just I'm more worried about the stealth rather than anything else. So I've got any pre-challenge actions, which he does not. So on to his challenges. So we have a military of 4. So I can say about this. So, I'm kind of going to make a mistake here. I'll let you know now. I was determined to try and get some power on George's house card, because you can't steal power; they don't have any power. Kind of logic. And sometimes I find with Bara that I get really slowed down because my opponent doesn't have anything for me to steal. No, shame. I'm sure you're crying for me. So I let this go unopposed, and that was a silly mistake, which I realised. I'm going to realize in a second, because I was like, we can't, unless he's got Will as well on hand, he can't put anyone to the sword, which would be frustrating. Well, I do write up rather than UO though, yeah, for unopposed. And here we go. Unfortunately, then we have a we do not say played on the painted table. So yeah, so that was actually a complete waste of time, me trying to get a power on there. And 5 followers taking this claim. So that was a mistake. For some reason I forgot I was playing Greyjoy, probably because of the amount of Lanny cards out there. So an intrigue coming in from the reader, getting 2 gold because Tyrion's only got milk on him, which I oppose. And unfortunately Stannis is taking his claim, which was a risk. Then we have a little power challenge coming in, which I believe I'm going to defend for 5. No, defend and win because of the red keep. I'm not as worried about letting him get. Not as worried about him letting him get power now, because obviously the table's gone, so I can still win a power challenge and gain power. So we'll start off with an intrigue. It's going to be 200 page challenge. I might as well attack his hand, because shock horror. I'm about to play wildfire, so I'm going to have 3 characters anyway. Killing off a chud now doesn't really help me, but trying to reduce his hand does. We have the hound played in, so George's hand's going to be down to 1. And claim is another copy of the Rush Church Raiders, so George now down to 1 card in hand. Here comes Bob, who's going to do a power. The hound will stop it from being unopposed, but that'll be 2 more power. I'm not sure enough strength to win that. It was currently ridiculous. It's current strength of 15. Such a ridiculous card. So claim and renowned. I'm done. I get dominance, which gets me another 3 power. And I'm still 13 to George's 2. So not looking too shabby on that front. We have First Snow of Winter into Wildfire. I'm going to be first player, try and win the game before George gets to do anything. Target Wildfire, and yeah, I'm going to kill Serene and Nil Tyrion. Keep that stealth out, and then his disadvantage. But I assumed he probably wasn't going to kill Tyrion, if I'm honest. Another interesting one, because he chooses to keep kill the Hound and keep what's his name, the Knight alive. I forget his name. Now, I know he's triggered at the moment, but the Hound seems to be a bit more useful, especially the smaller board, because he can keep Rob in check. And obviously with Tyrion's gold, you can keep bringing him back in. I know he's about to jump back to hand against my First Snow, but it wouldn't seem like a bad shout to me. So we're going to start off with milking Tyrion. And I'm denied about whether to put Sedaris out or keep the gold for the City Watch. A bit of a surprise element. But I go for Sedaris, I believe, because he's got stealth, so hopefully try and get unopposed through. Which I do, and I put his dupe down just in case any shenanigans happen. I have some easy claim I don't really care about. I don't actually know why I'm running a dupe in here. I don't normally run a dupe of him. I think this deck needs a bit of tweaking in hindsight. I'll see what George does. George passes, so we choose First Snow. Gets Celise back to hand. I pass pre-challenge. Actions. George does likewise, so we're going to do a military stealthing, so whatever his chops is. Lockhart, is it? Okay. Which goes unopposed, putting it to 14 power. Claim is going to be Tyrion's dupe. You know, an intrigue, knowing that he can't be unopposed. I was half expecting a Birdman or something to jump in when I did the military, which would have made things a bit trickier. The reader blocks the unopposed, so have no reactions. Torch is up to a whopping 7 gold, and an Iron Islands Fishmonger has taken his claim, and then Power comes in, and George concedes. So yeah, that didn't go too badly. I'd say this something I'm trying going back to Fealty now. I'd say over summer, it's doing pretty well. Thanks to George for the game and for letting me record. Not in a good start to the OCTGN League. So yeah, that worked well. Interesting to see if it works that well. I mean, George did miss most of his key cards because he does rely on King Balon and Jamie. But even so, I think I could have controlled them. It would be interesting if I could. Maybe that amount of military coming my way might have messed me around. But I probably would have milked someone else. And I don't know. It could change the game. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Until next time, it's been emotional.